Okay, so I am officially starting now. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this session on Less Pain Today with me, Cheryl Lee. So just take a moment to arrive in the session and decide that you're going to commit to the session. You're going to move your phone away to the side or turn it over and give yourself this time and this space to do something different with your brain and allow something different in your body and experience something new. Let's take a couple of breaths together. Feel your feet on the floor and feel your buttocks in the chair or on the floor, wherever you sat. That's your anchor. And as you breathe in, rising from that anchored position into an effortless posture. Let's breathe 3 times together. Anchored roots, rising wings. That feels better. A few deep and smooth breaths always makes me feel calm, makes me feel more collected, and helps me to make better decisions and choices about what I'm going to say. So let me set the container then for this session before we properly begin. Really important for you to know that everything is an invitation. Please do not allow my instructions to override your sense of comfort in your body. You are the expert in you, not me. I'm going to make suggestions. You can follow them. I'm going to suggest you follow them slowly and with a very small level of effort. You can even imagine those movements. The position and setup, well, just a mat. We are going to be moving. You're going to be moving your head, you're going to be moving your limbs, you're going to be moving your spine. So it's nice to have a flat surface for good feedback. If you're in pain today and you need a softer surface, so I've got just set up right now a mat, but also there's a seat that I have a little pet cushion. So those are the two sessions I use for myself. And I might choose the comfier one. If I'm feeling a little bit delicate, like say it's just before my period or something like that, or I've travelled and my spine feels a little bit stiff. All right, so you choose how you're going to do the session today, where you're going to do the session. Okay, now can I suggest that if you are in spasm today, that you maybe visualize the movements, you imagine the movements, you do them at a micro level. Also, I would suggest heading to my easing back pain session and the easing shoulder pain, because those are, or shoulder and neck pain, because those sessions are really kind of set up for folks who are, in some sort of spasm. All right, so this is just a general session for everybody, but I am slowing everybody down, no matter what level you are, to really feel yourself and get in contact with yourself today. All right, so yeah, let's do a little test before we begin. The movement that we're going to do some people can find it quite difficult just because they're not used to moving that area of the body. And I'm talking about the sort of chest and back. All right. So why is it difficult? Because they're trying to move the chest, but they're also contracting the back as well. So there's this kind of co-contraction going on. Let me just illustrate that for you. Just hold up your fist, hold up your arm. Now, make a really hard fist, right? So if you could see my fist, it's like going a little bit white because I'm really squeezing. It's so uncomfortable, right? It's not comfortable at all. And it's rock hard on that side of my arm. It's rock hard on that side of my arm. It's hard to maintain. And if I try to roll my fist forwards and backwards, so you try and do yours, it feels uncomfortable. It's actually a little bit painful. So just relax that. Give it a shake. Okay, let's do that in a different way. So hold up your fist, but this time you're going to make a loose fist, floppy fist. No contraction here, no contraction there, it's soft. Now roll your fist forwards. Right, what a change in the movement. Now, this will make sense to you when you're on the floor, and I'm asking you to move your chest, and can you soften, can you soften, can you soften there? Because if you are trying to do it with force and effort, you'll find you're not able to move, but you won't know why, but probably your back muscles will be tensing up, trying to do the movement, and so will your chest. And why is that happening? Well, because you've kind of forgotten how to individuate the movement to this area of your body. Another good explanation I like to give is, well, this is my Gen X monkey friend, all right, so it's as old as me, and stiff as a board. I'm not as stiff as this. I can be if I don't do my somatics, but look, right, there's no movement going on here. He can hardly move. There's hardly any flexion because he's so tightly packed at the back and so tightly packed at the front. There's just barely anything going on. Whereas this little dog, this Gen Z dog of my son's, look, all right, he can move with ease. And you know what else? A good word that I like to give for this, it's essential, it's a sense of proportion. So there isn't a massive amount of movement in one area, it's a proportionate amount of movement, with movement along all of the tissues in a proportionate manner. Another example. Oh, sorry, right. This is a snake. It's not a real snake. If you don't like snakes, close your eyes. Okay, so that's going to represent vertebra. If I move it in one direction, look, we've got closing on one side and then opening on the other. A sense of proportion, though, with the movement. And if I reverse that and go the other way, now we have the opening on one side and the closing on the other side. So that's another nice image for you, but also nice to sort of think about that sense of proportionate flowing movement. All right, every moving part is related to the next moving part along the chain. I think that's an important concept and one that you can apply to yourself when you're moving on the floor. So are you going to be a monkey today, or a dog, or a snake? Possibly you are a bit of a monkey somewhere, and so try to become more dog and snake-like in this session. So please take yourself to your mat, and you're going to extend your legs. And I'm going to take you through a brief, what we call a Soma Scan. So we do this at the beginning of the session. We take note of the contact our body is making with the surface below. Now keep looking sort of directly. It's hard not to look at yourself, isn't it, when you're on camera? So I'm going to try and look at the camera above. I don't know whether that actually feels better for you if I look at the camera, or if it feels like I'm staring at you, right? Just playing with things at the moment. This is my my second week of Zooming. All right then, so lying down on the floor, you are going to begin scanning your body. So just have your feet gently apart, have your arms at the side of your body. It's important to say here, we are not looking for problems. We are simply noticing and assessing the resting tension of the nervous system. So now you are out of gravity, your muscles are not needed, they can stand down, they can relax, but are they? Are they though? Or are they still switched on? Do you still have tension somewhere? And if you do, that's okay. That level of tension can be tweaked and can be changed. So I invite you to close your eyes to shut out any unnecessary distraction. There's nothing now that I'm going to show you as a visual cue. Everything will be an audio suggestion. Take your awareness to your feet. Sense how your feet contact the surface. And then traveling up the body, notice the contact of the calves, the back of the thighs, the back of the pelvis. Notice the pelvis left to right. Is it deeper on one side? Do you feel more relaxed into the ground on one side, more lifted on the other side? And is that true maybe of the legs? Does one leg feel closer to the ground? Does one leg feel longer or shorter? Very important to say, we're not looking for problems. So if you're noticing any asymmetries, it's okay. That's just your nervous system, how it is today. So the relationship between the pelvis and the shoulders now, so you've got the back of the pelvis, like two halves of a butterfly, and then you have your shoulder blades like two halves of a butterfly. Just notice if you can sense the shoulder blades at the back of the rib cage, and sense, do they feel in similar kind of contact from left to right? And how far away from the pelvis are your shoulder blades? You might want to just place your hand underneath your waist without lifting your waist up, and just slide your hand up and down towards your hips, towards your ribs. Notice the space on one side and the space on the other, and then lift the hand up and down. Notice, have you got like an inch to play with, or have you got a millimeter? How far away from the surface are you, and how far away are the shoulders from the hips? And then relax your hands. Going back to the top of your shoulders now, just sense whether one shoulder feels like it is closer to the ear than the other, or more lifted towards the ceiling than the other. Notice the back of the arms. Are they in equal contact? Notice the forearms, notice the contact of the wrists and hands, and maybe what you've done with them. Maybe they're on your body, maybe they're rolled open. And if they're rolled open, is that comfortable? Or have you done that because you've been told to do it in a yoga class? Is it comfortable in your body? Just notice. And then let's go down to the spine. Notice the tailbone, where it is in space. And then start tracking up the spine, back of the pelvis, sacrum, lumbar area, the area where you commonly have an arch in the back. Can you notice where your spine arches away from the surface and then comes down and touches the surface again? We've kind of assessed how big that arch might be with our hands earlier. Go through the thoracic spine rib cage to the neck. Notice the comfort of the neck. Does the neck feel arched, or does it feel kind of relaxed? Where does the skull bone contact the surface? Is it towards the crown and with the chin tilted up? Are you a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right? Very lazily roll your head left, roll your head right, just noticing if it's easier to go to one side because maybe you're already turned a little bit to one side, or maybe you're central. Just notice these things. And then imagine that you could be magically whisked away from the surface and you could see the imprint that your body is making in wet sand or, say, wet cement. What would that impression look like? Where would it be heaviest? Where would it be lightest? From side to side. And then come back down to your body. And just briefly take note of how you're breathing, where you notice the movement made by your breath without changing anything, without trying to breathe more deeply. Notice any tensions throughout your body. But notice as well somewhere in your body that's not tense. And just focus on that for a moment. What feelings and emotions do you have right now? What thoughts are going through your head? What is your level of calm or agitation? Now, I'd like to have a little quote, and I've got several books lying around, and I'd like to serendipitously open them. And this is what I opened today. And joy is everywhere. It is in the earth's green covering of grass, in the blue serenity of the sky. Where is joy in your body right now? Is there somewhere in your body that feels joyful, pleasant, or even neutral? And just hold the possibility that you can create a sense of joy or comfort or even neutrality in your body. And be open and curious about your experience today. So we're going to begin by bending the knees and standing the feet about hip distance apart, a foot or so away from your buttocks, and arms by your side. Gentle reminder that you're only going to do what is comfortable. Sit anything out if you want to or need to. Please place your fingers at either side of the navel. I would like you to sink the navel and then allow the navel to rise. And sorry, I was not clear there. So I teach with motor planning. So motor planning means I give you an instruction and you listen and your brain kind of prepares that movement and then you execute the movement. So I apologize. I did not say that that was a motor planning. So you may have just gone ahead and done that movement, and that's fine. I'll try and remember to tell you to motor plan. So try that movement again, just so this is motor planning. You are just going to sink the navel and then you're going to allow the navel to rise. So think of a sponge rising in the oven, and then you're going to relax, melt, notice any sensations. Go ahead and do that movement. So we're just gently moving the center of the body. Think of that snake I showed you earlier. Now, as you sink your navel, your vertebrae are opening at the back and they're closing at the front. Pause in between movements and then do another movement. And of course, those vertebrae are covered with muscles, which when you sink, the ones at the back are going to open up, lengthen. The ones at the front are going to shorten, and all of the tissue with it will be opening or shortening. Let's just bring the breath in there as well. So I'm going to invite you now to, this is motor planning. Breathe in to prepare. As you breathe out, you're going to sink the navel. And then breathe in again, cake rising. And then relax in neutral. Notice any sensations. Be interested, be curious. What can you feel? And do that one more time. Take a breath in to prepare, breathe out, sink the navel. And then allow the navel to rise. And just knowing that you're opening and closing the vertebrae around the navel, but also there may be movement rippling from the navel up towards the head and down towards the tail. In fact, try it one more time and notice how far up you can sense the movement, how far down. So take a breath in, breathe out, sink the navel. And then as you breathe in, allow the navel to rise back to neutral and relax, take a resting breath. Let's go the other way. This is motor planning. So this time, as you breathe in, you're going to allow your belly button to rise. And as you breathe out, you're going to allow your belly button to fall to neutral, and then you're going to melt, rest in neutral, and just notice. Go ahead and do that movement. Breathe in, gently rise with the belly button, arching the back, opening the front, back is closing. Float down, and then relax in neutral, melt, let everything go. Soften, notice any sensations and repeat, breathing in and arching, breathing out and floating down. Relax in neutral. One final time, breathe in, arch, contraction at the back, lengthening at the front. Breathe out, the back releases. Can you voluntarily release the back muscles to assist in that process? And just relax there, soften completely. Now, you're going to use your hands as a proprioceptive tool. So just listen to my words. This is motor planning. With one hand, it doesn't matter which, place your thumb at your sternum, so the base of your breastbone, with your little finger trailing to the navel. So you've got a hand span from the base of the ribs to the navel. The other hand, thumb at your navel, little finger trailing towards your pubic bone. So you have two hands spanning the front of your abdomen, from the chest to the pubic bone. So we're going to do that same set of movements, but this time, because your awareness is taken a little bit further up, so we just had them at the navel, didn't we? So now we've taken them up towards the chest, down towards the pelvis. I wonder if you'll feel more of a ripple of movement. So motor planning, we are going to sink the navel, and you might also have a sense of your hands sliding together. And in fact, you can gently slide them together. Let's go ahead and do that movement. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, sink the navel, slide the hands together. And then as you breathe in, slide the hands open and completely relax. Now, because this is motor planning again. Because you're sinking the navel in the center, are you sliding your hands together along the horizon, or is there a little bit of a dip? So you're going to slide the hands together, but you're going to be aware that you are going downwards towards the navel, and allow your rib cage to gently depress and allow your hip bones to kind of roll towards the navel. Okay, let's go ahead and do that movement. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, sink the back, allow both of those hands to slide towards each other, chest depresses down, pelvic bones roll towards the navel, and it's like you're lengthening your tailbone away slightly. And then as you breathe in, undo that movement slowly, ripple of movement, proportionate movement, and relax in neutral. Do that one more time. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, sink the navel, allow the hands to slide together and slightly downwards, chest dips, pelvis rolls towards the navel, tailbone might slightly move away and lift. Keep breathing and then return. So I ought to have said, because my instructions are getting a bit longer now, you might take a couple of breath cycles to move into that final movement, and that's fine. So just keep breathing. Let's do that one more time, and you use your breath, taking as many breath cycles as you need to dip and then rise. So let's start with an inhalation to prepare. On an exhalation, begin to sink down, but then just continue breathing. So the chest sinks, the pelvis rolls towards the navel, shortening at the front, lengthening at the back, and then breathe in and slowly open. And you might take 2, 3, or just one breath cycle to return to neutral. We're all different. But I like you at the beginning to slow down the movie so the brain can see. So if you're taking longer, that's cool. And relax completely. Let's go the other way. So we're going to arch. And what are the hands going to do this time? Slide apart. When you are ready, take a breath in, arch your back, and feel the hands slide apart. And then as you exhale, the hands float back to neutral. Relax completely, sense the movement, and go ahead, do that movement again. Breathe in, arch under the navel. Allow the arch to travel up the rib cage. Keep breathing, your breath rhythm. Roll the pelvis away. So you're increasing the arch, and then slowly, in a proportionate manner, return to neutral. Try that one more time. You're going to inhale and arch, ripple of movement from belly button to throat, ripple of movement down from belly button to tail. The back is arching and lifting. Maybe the skull, the tailbone are in contact. Float down. Relax completely. Now let's put those two movements together. So you're going to sink first, and then you're going to rise to neutral, and then you're going to arch. So we're going to take a breath in to prepare. As you exhale, sink the back and belly down. Your hands are sliding together. Take as many breaths as you need, and then float back to neutral. Take a resting breath in neutral. And then you're going to arch the back, allowing the arch and the ripple of movement to continue right up to the skull bone, right down to the tailbone, arching the spine, lengthening the spine. And then as you exhale, float back to neutral. Do that a couple more times. So you inhale to prepare, you exhale, you sink the back and belly, the hands slide together, You inhale, you return to neutral, take a resting breath, gather yourself. And when you're ready, you're going to inhale again, arching the back, lengthening the tail away, rolling the hips away, chest and pelvis moving away from each other as the back arches, hands moving away from each other, and then hands float back together to that starting point and completely relax. Now, is your neck moving? Are you the monkey or are you the dog? What I'd like you to do for the next 3 repetitions is see if you can allow your neck to be a rag doll and just allow it to move along with what you are doing. So you can have your hands resting on you still. And we're going to sink first. So breath in to prepare. As you exhale, sink the back and belly. The hands are coming together. Allow your neck to be free. What does it want to do? And then you inhale, float back to neutral. Take a resting breath. Allow your neck to settle and soften. Now you're going to arch. You're going to inhale and arch from the center. What is the effect on the neck? Are you allowing it to be free? Are you allowing it to move? And then float back on down to neutral. Relax completely. Try it a couple of times by yourself. So you're sinking the back. You're seeing what the neck wants to do. So as you're pulling the back down, is there a pull in your neck? Maybe your chin wants to tilt up, that's fine. And then float back to neutral. Just rest in neutral. Allow everything to just return to comfort. And then you're going to arch the back. So as you pull the back up, what is happening in the neck? And are you allowing the neck to gently respond to the movement in the center of your body? Float back down to neutral and completely relax. Okay. We're going to do something with the arms now. So have your arms round about 45 degrees to the side of you. And what I'd like you to do is simply, this is motor planning, leading with the thumbs, you're going to spiral the thumbs inwards, bringing the back of the hand towards the body, and let that spiraling action of the thumb move your forearm and your upper arm. So your arm is going to move like a rolling pin inwards, and then you're going to spiral back to where you came from. Let's go ahead and do that movement. Just breathe normally. So you're going to spiral the thumb inwards, rotating the hands inwards towards the body, allowing the wrists to move, allowing the arm bones to move inwards towards the body, and then unroll back to your starting position. Good. Okay, just notice how that feels. Now, what I'd like you to allow is, I'd like you to allow that lift, that movement of the thumb inwards to actually lift the shoulders upwards. And then you might need to sort of physically and voluntarily think about lifting the shoulders towards the ceiling. So the arms are rolling in and the shoulders are lifting upwards towards the ceiling. Let's go ahead and see how that feels. So starting in your neutral position, spiral the thumbs inwards, the arm bones roll inwards, and then the hands come against the body and the shoulders lift up off the surface. Can you feel the shoulder blades lifting away? And then you can start to put them down slowly, bit by bit, millimeter by millimeter, and unroll millimeter by millimeter. So it's a proportionate movement. You're slowing down the movie so the brain can see. Do that one more time. Roll the arms all the way inwards, leading with the thumbs. Allow the shoulders to lift up. Allow the collarbones to come together, but not to discomfort. Can you feel the shoulder blades sliding apart across your back? and then slowly come down and unroll, relax completely. Now as we're doing that movement, we're kind of making the rib space and chest space a little smaller. So how about if we breathe out as we do that movement? So the breath is kind of mirroring the compression of our body. So take a breath in to prepare. As you breathe out, thumbs spiral inwards, arms roll inwards, shoulders lift. Can you feel how the body is compressed a little? And then as you come down, breathe in again, allow breath to come into the body. And then relax completely. Now we're going to go the other way. So we've rolled inwards. Now we're going to roll outwards. So you're going to spiral the thumbs. So this is motor planning. You're going to spiral the thumbs outwards. So the back of the hand comes down to the floor. The wrists roll open. The forearms roll open. The armpits roll open. The collarbones open. And the shoulder blades kind of come together at the back. But please don't force anything. Go only with what your body can do in comfort. All right, that's what it might be, only a few millimeters of movement, and that's absolutely fine. Let's try that movement. So starting from a neutral position around 45 degrees away from the body, when you are ready, roll the thumbs open, arm bones roll open, arm bones move away from the trunk. Feel your armpits open, collarbones widen, shoulder blades coming together. And then unroll back to neutral. What's happening in the trunk here? Is it getting bigger and wider, or is there a sense of it opening up? Would it make sense to breathe in and receive more air as this happens? Let's try. So when you are ready, take a breath in as you roll open, allow that breath to fill the chest. And then you're going to roll back to neutral and completely relax. Shall we put the two movements together? Motor planning, guys. You're going to roll inwards and breathe out. You're going to roll outwards and breathe in. Let's do the movement. Starting from 45 degrees away from the body, kind of neutral hand position. Let's take a breath in to prepare. We are rolling inwards first. Arms, hands roll in, shoulders lift. Shoulder blades come apart. Keep breathing. When you're next ready to breathe in, unroll and begin to widen, spiraling the thumbs open, armpits are opening, chest is opening, shoulder blades coming together. And then come back to neutral and rest. So maybe take a couple of breaths to get into the final position and a couple of breaths to fully unroll. Okay, so let's try it that way. So we're going to roll inwards first. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, spiral the thumbs inwards, arm bones roll inwards, collarbones come together, shoulder blades open, shoulders lift. Keep breathing. And then when you are ready, you're going to breathe in as you begin to unroll, and just keep breathing now. Thumbs spiral open, chest spirals open, shoulder blades come together, and just stay there for a moment and expand your breath into that nice open chest, and then unroll back to neutral and completely relax. Okay, we're going to layer the movement of the arms with the arching and sinking that we were doing earlier on. Let me motor plan this for you. As you sink the back, the arms are going to roll inwards, and then you're going to unroll to neutral. As you arch the back and roll the pelvis away, the thumbs are going to roll outwards and the chest is going to open. Let's see how that movement feels. We're rolling inwards first. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, roll the arms inwards, sink the back and belly. Pelvis rolls towards the navel. Keep breathing. You might take several breaths. And then when you are ready, unroll smoothly, slowly, evenly to neutral and completely relax. Just take a resting breath. We'll talk about neck movement in a moment, but let's just concentrate on what the belly's doing and what the shoulders are doing. So we're going to go into the opening movement, arching movement. Now let me just drop in there. This movement is called the flower. So think of rolling up, how a flower at nighttime closes its petals, and you're rolling your body inwards, closing up. And then in the sunshine, the petals open up, just as you are opening up your body, rolling the arms out and rolling the pelvis away, opening the chest, opening the abdominal area. So we're going to roll inwards first. Take a breath in. As you breathe out, roll the arms inwards, shoulders come up, you sink the back and belly, pelvis rolls towards the navel, tailbone might lift, soften the neck, just let the neck be soft. Stay there for a moment, just notice the contraction at the front of the body. Now, are you contracting the back, and can you let the back go? When you are ready, slowly unroll, but just come to neutral and just rest there, noticing where you opened. Now we're going to open up the flower, rolling the arms outwards, rolling the pelvis away from the navel. We'll do that on an in-breath. So let's breathe in as the thumbs spiral open, the chest opens, the pelvis rolls away from the body, the back arches. Soften the neck. It's like you're lengthening the neck. And then slowly undo the action. Fiber by fiber, we're just returning to that neutral position. Let's repeat rolling inwards, resting and rolling outwards. Okay, take a breath in to prepare. Roll the arms inwards, sink the back and belly. Tailbone lifts and moves away from the body. Neck is soft, the chin might rock up. And then slowly unroll, just coming to neutral, softening the neck, allowing the pelvis to return to neutral. Take a resting breath to gather yourself. So let's motor plan the next bit. You're going to open the arms and you're going to roll the pelvis away from you, arching your back on an in-breath. Are you ready? Take a breath in, roll the arms open, roll the pelvis away, feel the chest open, feel the crown slide away from the trunk, and then undo the movement, returning to neutral, and completely relax. Soften your body. Just extend your legs for a moment. Let's just take a moment to integrate what you've just done. Just allowing any sensory feedback. Just resting, not having to do anything. Being completely relaxed. It's being curious what you feel in your body. And just taking a breather, noticing if you've been over-efforting anywhere, because when we learn something new, we tend to put more effort in, and that can sometimes mean more force. So do you need to wind back and dial down with the level of effort that you're putting into the movement? So just stay where you are in that extended position and let me explain the final piece. So this is motor planning, but we're not ready to do it yet. This is just imagining. So the legs will be bent, but just leave yours wherever they're comfortable. Feet will be on the floor. The piece that we're going to add is the knees coming together. So the knees will gently come together and you roll the weight of the feet to the inside of the feet. And it may be that the outsides of your feet slightly lift up. And you may have a sense of your two hip bones coming closer together across the front of your abdomen. And then you're just going to undo that movement. So the knees come to the starting position, the abdomen relaxes, the feet relax. What do you imagine the next movement to be? The knees falling apart. So the knees opening outwards, the weight going on to the outside of the feet, the inner edge of the feet lifting, and the pelvis bones, the pelvic bones opening, but also the pelvis rolling away. So you've got that front of the abdomen, which is lengthening, and then returning all of that to neutral. So when you are ready, we're just going to move the legs. Let's keep it simple. Stand your feet just away from your buttocks, knees about hip distance, feet about hip distance. And just see what it's like without doing any special breath, just do normal breathing. You're going to slowly bring the knees together and have a sense of the hip bones coming together and the tailbone lifting. The outer edges of the feet lifting. And feel that squeeze and that tightness down the inside of your thighs into the center of your body. Now slowly unwind from that movement. Good, and completely relax. Now let's try the other way. Just keep breathing. Allow the knees to fall apart. The weight goes onto the outside of the foot. The inside of the foot might gently lift. Now, can you slowly take the knees out so you're not letting them just suddenly flop out and stretch as far as you can? You're doing this with control, so it needs to be slow. We're about control here. This is not how far can you go. You already know that anyway. But how can you control it? You don't know that. Maybe you haven't done this movement slowly in a controlled way. So as the knees move apart and you go onto the outer edge of your feet, roll your pelvis away from you. So it's like your tailbone's going in towards the surface and the abdominals are lengthening and your back is gently arching. Knees are apart. So feel that expansion and openness now in your lower body. And then slowly return and completely relax. Now let's add that movement. It's hard to do that movement without doing something with the back. So we're just going to add on, leave the arms out for the moment, but we're going to add on what's happening in the center of the body. So this is motor planning. As the knees come in, the belly sinks, the tailbone lifts, and then you return. As the knees go out, the back arches and the pelvis rolls away. Okay, let's do one each of those movements without the arms. We're going to roll inwards first. Take a breath in to prepare. As you breathe out, sink the back and belly. Let the knees roll in. Let the tailbone move away from the body and lift. Let the outer edge of the feet come up. And then slowly, in a proportional manner, unwind from that position. And completely relax. Take a resting breath and let's go the other way. So now as you breathe in, you are going to arch the back, roll the pelvis away, allow the knees to fall apart. The weight goes onto the outer edge of the foot. And then unroll from that movement, come back to neutral and completely relax. All right, let's put the whole thing together with the arms. So this is the flower. We are rolling tightly all the way inwards, shortening the front of the body, allowing the back to open. And then we are unrolling. The arms are rolling open, the knees are rolling open, the chest, abdominals and pelvis is rolling open, and the back of the body is shortening, and then we return to neutral. We're going to roll inwards first, guys. So let's take that breath in to prepare. Take as many breaths as you need now to sink the back and belly. Roll the arms in. Allow the knees to come together. The belly is sinking. The tailbone is gently lifting and lengthening away. The arms are coming in. Soften the neck. Allow the chin to gently rock upwards if you can. Soften the neck. And unwind from that position to neutral with the arms. Return the legs, return the spine, belly, pelvis to a neutral position, and take a resting breath, removing any tensions. And now we're going to unroll. When you are ready, breathe in. Spiral the hands and arms open, allow the knees to fall apart. The tailbone rolls into the floor, the belly opens, the back arches, the skull bone moves away from the center of the body, and then unroll. Completely relax in the neutral position. You've got this now. Have a play with it. You're going to roll in your own time. Take as many breaths as you need to become that tight flower rolled in, chest and pelvis together, sinking in the middle. Neck is free, the chin is allowed to rock up, knees are together, outside edge of the feet are lifted. Keep breathing and then slowly unwind from that. It's nice to take a resting breath and then go the opposite way. As you breathe in, unroll the arms, unfurling the arms, allow the knees to fall apart, lengthening the front of the torso, tailbone goes towards the surface, the skull bone might feel like it moves away from the center of the body. Now just stay there for a moment in that open flower position and swell your breath into your trunk as if you can fill every part, and then soften down. Now play. Go as slowly as you like, taking several breaths to get to each position, the final expression of each position, or breathe out, roll in, and breathe in, roll out. So just take a single breath to get there. It's up to you. But can you make the movement flow? Can you make the movement smooth? And can you find that joy in the movement? This is not about doing something right. This is about doing something so that the very essence of you sings with joy as you are doing this movement, because it feels good in your body. You are opening up spaces and then you're closing them down. But because you've closed them down, you can feel the full expression of opening them back up again. Find the pleasure and the joy in the movement. Chance is always powerful. Let your hook be always cast. In the pool where you least expect it, there will be a fish. Ovid. What fish are you catching right now? What is happening in your body that you didn't expect? What new sensations, new connections are you experiencing? And now relax what you are doing. Make your next movement your last one. And you're going to extend your legs into that Soma scanning position. You've moved everything. You've moved your feet and toes and your hands and fingers, your arms and your legs, your pelvic floor, your neck. We've missed an opportunity to add the tongue and the eyes on that full expression of opening up with the eyes and the tongue open. But there's one to add for yourself. So what's the impression in your body now? Close your eyes. Just take in the contact of the feet, the calves, the back of the thighs, the pelvis, the legs, the shoulders, the space and height in that gap between the pelvis and the shoulders, the back of the shoulders, whether one shoulder's near to the ear or lifted towards the ceiling, the back of the arms, the forearms and wrists, the neck, rolling the head from side to side. How easily does it go to both sides? And when you come to rest in the center, where are you in the center? Does it feel different than it was before? And what tensions can you feel in your body? What thoughts are going through your head? What feelings and emotions do you have? What is your sense of calmness or agitation? Just notice. And can you find a neutral spot in your body? Or even a spot that's like kind of fresh and tingly with everything that you've just done? So something that's either neutral or even, dare I suggest, there may be a positive emotion in your body. And while you are there in this kind of semi-rested state, let me pick a card for you. I have a pack of empowering questions. So now you're in this contemplative mode. Oh, this is interesting. Am I focusing more on what my life looks like than on what it feels like? So just absorb that question. What are you focusing on in your life? Would you like to expand your focus or change your focus? Our work in somatics is not just movement on the mat. It's sending out ripples of change into our lives. Where do you want to focus on in your life for the better? And what action, what piece of action can you take today towards that? Even a tiny, tiny baby step. Okay, now I would normally, if you were in the Zoom room at this point, have a little Q&A with you and talk to you about your experiences. However, let's get up and let me revive you so that you can continue with your day. So roll over onto your side and just think about coming up to standing, moving yourself. Just allow your brain to absorb that message that it's time to get up in a moment. And when you are ready, begin that process of pushing yourself up into whatever position is easy for you, whether you go onto all fours, whether you go into a kind of kneeling lunge and push up, or whether you bring your feet together and roll up. It is entirely up to you. And have a little walk around your room. Start to look with your eyes all the way to the left and the right. Look at the horizon. Just notice things in your line of vision. Start to wiggle your fingers, shake your legs, tap over the face. I love this. It's like little spots of cool now all over my face as I'm tapping. So nice. Raising one arm, lowering the other, and then slowly swapping over. And before you go, let me show you what we've been doing. So what you're seeing in front of you are 3 postures. I'm sure you recognize these postures from, just walking around and seeing how people carry themselves. We're looking at the first posture. We call this the red light posture. The red light posture is the posture of kind of fear, apprehension, not feeling good, feeling weary. Or maybe it's the posture of I've just been sitting a lot today, or I've been traveling a lot, and I just kind of feel like I'm in this chair posture. And so what we do in somatics, so this is what we've been doing, the flower, is we roll into that posture. So if you just have a look at the image in front of you, this is what we've been doing. We've been recreating that posture to show the brain, look how it feels to have your shoulders rolled in, to have your knees rolled in, to have your chest sinking. And now let's do the opposite. Let's slowly unwind from that and let's go into the full expression of opening the front of the body. So that was the flower posture, the flower movement. I have thoroughly enjoyed teaching you today, and I hope that you have felt something, at the very least, to be interested in your body today. Thank you for joining me. I'm here again next week, and next week we're going to be looking at the extensor muscles at the back of the body. Have a great day.